Oh hi, welcome to Black Dot Miniatures and Paints. I'm Kevin. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Spacewolves Terminator that is in some deep need of some love. Check this dude out. He's unique. He's original. He is someone's art and someone loved him, but we're going to be restoring him to the glory of the Emperor today. So coming in with some Vallejo Black Primer, we're just going to go straight over it. The paint wasn't too bad, wasn't too thick, so we can just get away with this. Normally we'd want to scrub him, but let's go with it. Now coming down with some Nautilus Blue, we're going to do an all-over coat with this. This is going to give some deep blues into the recesses, and good base coat to start with. Alright, moving up to Rust Gray, this is going to give him that Spacewolves feel. We're not going to do an all-over coat with this. We're just going to be selective about where we put these highlights to give them that Spacewolves coloring. Alright, next we're going to mix the Rust Gray with some Dusty Ground by Minitair. 1-to-1, it'll just brighten it up some more and make it pop some more in the areas where light's going to hit it. And now we're moving to Dusty Ground by itself. Be real selective with where you put this. A little bit goes a long way, and it can turn it from looking sexy to looking real god-awful. And now some Fenrisian Gray, just do some edge highlighting. Don't have to do everything, but make sure you hit some of it. It's just going to give it that nice clean line on the edges. Alright, now coming in with some Celestra Grey, we're going to pick out his Terminator doodad. I don't remember what these things are called. Terminator doodad. Now we're going to do the metals with some Vallejo metal color silver. Originally I did steel and it turned out way too dark. So don't be afraid to cover up paint. If you make a mistake, just do it again. And now we're mixing up an oil wash, some Winsor Newton oil paint, some mineral spirits, and we're using an acrylic brush here, that way we don't jack up our good ones. I went a little thin here, so we're going to add a little bit more, just take it to the tone we need it to be. And we're going to go ahead and wash all over all the metal parts. I wasn't satisfied with coat 1, so we went ahead and did 2 coats to make sure we got the proper contrast. Alright, now we're coming in with Steel Legion Drabe. This is a good base coat for any sort of bone colors. Just make sure you get all of them. He's got a ton of little teeth, bones, skulls all over his body. Hashtag Spacewolves. Alright, coming in with the Abaddon Black, we're going to go ahead and do the creases in his power armor. We're going to hit the pipes on him and the little tubes by his feet. And now moving to Mephiston Red, we're going to go ahead and hit his loincloth. We're going to get the casing to the weapon, and then we're also going to get a shoulder pad while we're at it. Just give it a good contrast to that blue we're using. Make it pop and stand out. Now we're going 1-to-1 with Evil Sunz and Mephiston, and we're just going to pick out the high points. I've thinned this down dramatically and had to do about 1,000,000 layers. I probably could have done a little bit better on the consistency, but I didn't want to go too hard in the paint. So we're just picking out the high points. Movie magic shows you a few seconds of it, but we did about 5 coats, real thin. Alright, now we're going to get some Averland Sunset and just pick out the bottom of the shoulder pad. And then XV88 for the perimeter of his loincloth. So using Evil Sun Scarlet, we're going to do the part I forgot and do the folds on his loincloth. And now it's time to start picking out all the gold details. Anyone who knows the lore of Space Wolves knows that they like them some gold. It's a great color, pops off the blue. Make sure you get all of it because there is some hiding in every single part of the model. And then we're going to do Mournfang Brown on the little paw on his chest. Alright, now switching to Army Painter Strong Tone, we're going to take the Steel Legion Drabe from earlier and just give it a good coat of that. It'll darken down all the recesses and we'll come back and highlight them back up here in a minute. Alright, here we go with some Steel Legion Drabe again. We're just avoiding all the recesses, creases, cracks, anything that the wash collected in, and we're just bringing it back up to the base tone to then highlight further. Now while all that's drying, we're going to hit the Ryclone Flesh Shade all over the gold bits. That'll darken down the recesses. We'll come back and fix those here in a minute also. So from the wash earlier, it darkened down our Celestra Grey significantly. We're going to go ahead and bring that back up just with that, and then we'll highlight it further in the next step. Alright, using Minitair's Dusty Ground, we're just going to go ahead and further highlight the Terminator doodad, just to make it stand out pop. Alright, now that that's done drying, we're going to mix Ushabti Bone, Steel Legion Drabe 1-to-1 and just start highlighting the areas. We're going to start with a large surface area and progressively through the highlights work smaller and smaller and smaller. You'll see that in the next steps coming. But just try and go for the tops of all the highlights. Alright, 2-to-1 with Ushabti Bone and Steel Legion. Same concept, we're just going smaller on the highlights to make those more pronounced and stick out. We're also getting less and less surface area of the teeth while we're at it, just to show a progression from dark to light. And then while we're at it, we're going ahead and picking out the highest points on the loincloth. It's going to give it a good pop and make it stand out. And more Ushabti Bone. Here we go some more. Same concept, same style. And on the loincloth, when we get to it, I pick out just the tip tops of it. That way it has a subtle transition in there. Alright, switching to Yriel Yellow, we're going to highlight the Averland Sunset we previously put down. It'll just give it a good edge, give it a good highlight to look at. Go thin with this. Alright, back to the golds. There's a ton of it. So here we're just going to avoid all the recesses where we put down that Ryclone Flesh Shade. And just doing this step alone is a huge, huge bump in the quality of the paint job. You can see it right here on the wolf head. It turns it from looking kind of jank to pretty beautiful. Alright, now we're switching to Liberator Gold. Just taking the gold to the best gold it can be. So now switching to Mephiston Red. I should have done it earlier. We forgot. Go ahead and just knock the eyes out while we're at it. Now switching to pure Ushabti bone. We're just picking out the final highlights across all this bone and across the robe. Alright, Neva Sun Scarlet, like I said, we forgot. This just picks out the tips of the eyeballs and makes those pop. And we're going to use Spirit Stone for all his little gems and jewels throughout him. He's only got a few. It's not like the bone. Alright, back to Evil Sun Scarlet. I decided to put a line highlight along the edge of his shoulder pad there. I think it really added to the quality of the job. Alright, this is an awesome effect. Coming in with Vallejo Metal Color Gold, we're going to add a nice heat effect to his assault cannon there. You'll see what I'm talking about. Next layer is Angelic Blood, and we just go through a progression, making it look to be a heat effect. Alright, now we switch to a purple. This one's Icky Moose. And we're just doing less and less and less of the barrel as we change colors. And finally to a deep blue, Nautilus blue, doing just the tips. Alright, and I forgot about the little runes on him. We just hit that with a Skaven Blight Dinge, and then did a black wash over it. Known oil, dark tone, whatever you want to use. Alright, so here's the finished product. As you see, the heat effect there on the assault cannon, that turned out great. I love that. I try and use that any chance I get. I think we did a good job giving him the glory he deserves. Alright guys, I appreciate y'all watching another video of Black Dot Miniatures and Paint. I'm glad I can bring this to you. If you liked it, please like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned next week. Bye for now.